Guys, there's only about 4 weeks left in 2025. Isn't that freaking crazy? Literally, where has the time gone this year? But here's the thing, you don't have to wait until January 1st, 2026 to start transforming your own skating journey and taking ownership over your own progress. In fact, now is the perfect time to lock the fuck in, because what you do between now and the end of the year can completely shift your confidence, mindset, momentum, and progress going into 2026. And this video will give you exactly what you need to do to lock in and progress more on your skating journey than you could ever think before the year even ends. Hello friends of the internet. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Kathy and I'm a 27-year-old competitive figure skater living and training in New York City. And if you want real-time journey updates and more figure skating content, you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. All right, so let's get into it because we do not have many weeks left in 2025. And not gonna lie, that minorly terrifies me too. Number one, I want you to pick one thing that you will relentlessly work on every single time you practice. So this is the one thing that no matter how busy you are, how many times you skate, every time you get onto ice or you practice, you will practice and drill this one thing. Whether if it's some days it's just 5 minutes, whether some days it's the majority of the session, whatever it is, you will never go a single practice without practicing this new goal. So here's the thing, don't pick something broad. I want you to pick something very specific. Whether it's, I want to improve my right outside 3 turn, or I want to improve doing brackets on this foot, or I want to land disc jump, or I want to fix my Lutz edge. I want you to pick something you don't like practicing, but you know yourself that you need to do to get better at skating. And when you also think about what you pick, I want you to pick something challenging, but still within reach. So this should be something that will make you feel uncomfortable, may make you feel scared sometimes, but it should be something that you still feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I low-key want you to make this one really specific small goal your new obsession. Take progress videos of you practicing that exact element, and you'll be surprised how much 10 weeks of dedicated focus to one thing can help you improve immensely. I often get asked this a lot in my adult figure skating coaching calls or in the comment sections down below by you guys. What is the key to success and what is the key to progressing fast? And to that, I have one thing to say, and that is consistency. So for the next not many days left out of the 365 days we have in a year, I want you to create a plan that you will follow consistently. Depending on your time, your budget, your schedule, whatever it is, dedicate consistency. Whether it is one day of the week you will go skating, or just 30 minutes per week you're gonna go skating, or it's once every day. It's not the quantity that matters, it's the consistency. I want you to set up a plan, and ideally you do and follow that plan the same way every single week for the rest of the year. When we build systems in our life, we truly change our ability to tackle a new goal or something new that can be challenging. Our brain is already thinking about so many different things, so many variables, how to not fall and not die and eat shit on the ice, and how to not feel fear and be embarrassed, and how to feel confident on the ice, or how to do this new trick. Our brain does not have extra mental bandwidth on top of our full-time jobs, on top of school, or whatever other adult responsibilities and commitments you have to think about, oh, when am I going to go skating? So I want you to just take 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is on a weekend to just sit down with yourself and make a plan. It could be in Excel, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be in your notes app that you're gonna say, okay, Tuesdays are when I'm the least busy. I will commit to go skate 1 session every Tuesday. That it could be as little as that to as much as you want. And if you're hearing all of this and thinking, oh my God, this is so much information, this is so overwhelming, I don't even know what I need to do to progress. I want to commit, but I need support and structure in order to make it happen. And that's okay. I'm here to hold your hand at every step of the way and give you the exact roadmap that you need to succeed. And I will be doing that through my 10-week adult figure skating accelerator program. It's a one-on-one coaching program where you work with me every single week directly, built around your real life schedule. And if you book a call today, you will also get a limited time benefit to get my digital figure skating progress tracker and diary for free. So it can help you stay consistent and track your progress over time. All right, the next thing I will share may just shock you. And it honestly shocked me, which is why I wanted to put this in the video, even though it sounds like the simplest stupidest duh thing in the world, and that is to fix your sleep schedule. I'm sure you've heard about this a million times, but wait, hear me out. There's actually a method to the madness. So depending on your schedule, where you live, your rank, your job, you most likely either train before work or after work. And personally for me, I train super early in the morning. I feel like there's something about figure skaters being morning people or forced to be morning people because all of our sessions are super early in the morning and all the later sessions are for hockey players. So I am convinced that the world is forcing all figure skaters to be morning people. So I learned to get really good and consistent about going to bed early so I can wake up on time. However, there was one little thing that I did not fix until recently, and it completely changed how I just feel and function on the ice and at work, and just as a human being who feels happier and just more optimistic about life and less depressed and less down in my pit of misery. And that one mistake I was making is actually my sleep quality and sleep consistency. So when we think about improving our sleep, especially as athletes, we just think about sleeping more or getting to bed earlier. However, there's actually more science to that. And the thing I was doing is, because I am still a human and I want to have friends and have a social life and just have a life in general outside of being an athlete, which I know sometimes can be hard. I feel it all the time. I used to sometimes be like, okay, weekends is when I don't necessarily have to get up that early and do my on-ice training because I don't have work. I have flexibility to train any time of the day. On the weekends, I also dedicate more time to off-ice and also to recovery, so I may not always be at the rink itself. So then I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like, I can go to bed at midnight or 1, or every now and then maybe I'll stay up late. But my problem always became, no matter how late I slept, because my circadian rhythm was so regular and so good that I trained every day, I got up at 6 without fail during the weekdays, I would screw myself up completely, because on the weekends, I could go to bed at 2 a.m. and still my body will naturally wake up at like 6 a.m., which meant I only got like 5 hours of sleep, which is definitely not what I want, because I always thought, oh, if I just slept later, I'll just like be able to sleep in until 9 and 10 and I'll be fine. That is not how our body works. Bodies are actually way smarter than we think it is. The circadian rhythm of it is actually insane. So one of the biggest things to fixing your sleep is your consistency. So I know this sounds crazy and I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I hate to break it to you. Sleeping the same time, even on the weekends, is super important. And beyond sleep consistency, the other thing is sleep quality, because how well you sleep is not just contributed to how much time you actually spend in bed. So what I have learned is that before I go to bed, at least 30 minutes I will not be working. And I am someone who works a lot. I am a competitive athlete, I work a full-time job, and I also make content because I love making content for you guys, and I love sharing resources and helping everyone here in this community accelerate and boost their figure skating confidence and progress. I love doing what I do, but it also does not leave for a lot of free time. So I used to make the mistake of always working right up to my bedtime, and then I would wonder why I would still feel so anxious when I was in bed, or it was hard to fall asleep. Or sometimes I even get sleep anxiety, that feeling of, as an athlete, I know I need to sleep enough to recover, so I'm trying to get to bed, but I just can't fall asleep. And not falling asleep makes me even more stressed, because I know that if I don't fall asleep the next morning, training is not going to be pretty. So tactically, what has really helped me is 30 minutes before I sleep, I shut off my screens, no blue light, I don't work anymore, no laptop, no phones. What I do is sometimes I do audio, I listen to a podcast, or I have a conversation with a friend, I call family, I call my mom or my brother, I catch up with them, I stretch. Stretching before bed, great idea, because it doesn't involve screens. It slows down your heart rate and promotes a better resting heart rate going into bed. Naturally, sometimes as I'm stretching, it just feels so damn good that you kind of get sleepy anyways. Stretching before you go to bed is so beneficial for you in so many ways, especially as figure skaters, when we constantly have to keep up a baseline level of flexibility to even do like 50% of the things we have to do on the ice. Stretching not only relaxes your mind and your body, it also also helps you release toxins and metabolic waste products like lactic acid that build up in our muscles and make us feel more sore the next day. Trust me, when you start sleeping better, it will completely transform how your brain works on the ice and how much progress you can capture. And if this advice is more broader lifestyle basis, the next one is definitely more specific to skating. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever taken a group lesson or a one-on-one private lesson and then you leave the ice because the session is over, you're done skating, and 2 days later you go to practice again and you completely forgot every single thing that your coach told you? Like mind blank, mind empty. I'm like, what was I supposed to practice again? What did they say about my shoulders? What was I supposed to do with my upper body and my ankles? So one of the most important tools to fast track your skating actually has nothing to do with being on the ice. It is actually writing things down, and writing things down right after you have a coaching session with someone, whether that's in person, virtual, or a group lesson, or whatever it is. Because whether you write something down or you type something, you internalize those thoughts more, especially because skating is so technical. Every time your coach gives you corrections, there's like 10 million things you have to remember. You're like, okay, my hips have to be here, my ankle has to be here, I have to be bending this but not this, and I have to keep my upper body more right. A lot of times what beginner figure skaters, adult figure skaters, and beginner athletes in general don't realize is that so much progress is made not doing your sport itself. So much of that is using the mind and other tools to form something called a mind-body connection. So a lot of times as athletes, we just think about the body part. That's physically what we need to do and execute the thing that we're supposed to do, right? But what we don't realize, half the equation is how our mind processes that information and then makes our muscles fire in the way that we're supposed to. So when there is a disconnect between what your mind is trying to do versus what your body is trying to do, then the right things aren't going to show up in your body. So the more you do techniques such as actually writing things down, especially right after a lesson, it can really help you translate and practice better. I cannot tell you the amount of times I have my digital figure skating progress tracker and diary where I write down everything, and I'm literally at the rink in the morning just looking at it and be like, what did my coach say again? What was I supposed to do? And those just little tiny refreshers trigger everything I learned in a lesson and makes me accelerate my progress 10 times faster. Last thing I want to give to you is what I call the 10 and 10 rule. And this is a rule that completely changed how I approach how I plan my skating practice. So what the 10 and 10 rule is, basically you always dedicate 10 minutes at the beginning of every single session to skating skills, and you end with a cool down that is also 10 minutes of just doing skating skills. Not only does the approach of having a good on ice warm up and cool down help prevent the risk of injury, it also forces you to work on your skating skills in a very dedicated and rigorous fashion in a way that you don't forget about it. It is so easy to get on the ice and feel overwhelmed by how much progress you need to make. You're like, I need to improve this spin, I need to do this jump, I need to improve so many things, and your brain does not know how to stay structured and organized and train efficiently. So the biggest thing I do to never forget the importance of skating skills is to always dedicate 10 minutes at the beginning of every session and 10 minutes before a session ends to practicing edge drills, skating skills, crossovers, and all those things. So at the end of the day, you don't need a new calendar year or these crazy lofty strategies to become the best version of yourself on the ice before the year ends. All you need is commitment, clarity, and consistency. Whether it's 30 minutes a day or multiple sessions in a week, what you do in these final weeks of 2025 matters. So pick your one challenge, make yourself a plan, and go all in on it. So this is your big figure skating lock-in season. This is not some sort of New Year's resolution, but a concrete decision to show up differently and to show up differently now. And if you want structure, support, and accountability throughout that entire process, as I mentioned, you can check out my new adult figure skating fast track accelerator program, link in the description down below, and also it will be the first pinned comments that you see in the comment section down below. It will give you all the tools and resources to make real progress fast while still balancing your adult life and responsibility. So let's do this together. Let's finish this year strong, because confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you actively pursue. It's something you build one small thing at a time, one session at a time, and one small lifestyle change at a time. And if you found this video helpful, I just have one ask for you, and that is to like, comment, and subscribe. That will really help the channel out a lot and make it such that I can continue to work harder and better. Just by you clicking the subscribe button can help me more than you can ever imagine, so it can enable me to have the resources to develop more and more skating content and information that I can share with you guys on this channel. Also, if you have any questions, any videos you want to see from me, feel free to leave a comment for me down in the comment section down below. I look forward to hearing about all the progress in your figure skating journeys, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Every night I try to love, but your heart is made of stone. All my tears, they fall like rain.